Welkom terug by die groot ontbyt. Nou ja, vanmôre gesels ons met 'n afgetrede admiraal, Hanno Teuteberg, spesifiek oor 'n ou een-in-sy-soort Daphne-klas duikboot. Ja, 'n nasionale monument besigheid wat in Simonstad is op hierdie stadium, maar daar's een of twee hekkies wat 'n mens eers moet oorspring. Good morning.
Goeiemôre, good morning.
Lekker. Hanno, praat ons Engels of Afrikaans of gooi ons om deurmekaar?
Deurmekaar.
Nou maar lekker. Welkom by die groot ontbyt. Vertel ons eers 'n bietjie van jouself. Jy is 'n admiraal par excellence. Ek kyk hier na al die goeders wat jy gekry het. The decorations are rather impressive. There's even a couple of Navy Crosses decorations from Argentina and Brazil. Jy het 'n luisterryke beroep gehad tot eventueel as admiraal in die vloot. Vertel ons van jou ervarings. Waar kom jy vandaan? Waar het jy begin?
Ek kom van Stellenbosch af. My ouers kom van Duitsland en Holland af. En ek het altyd belang gestel in die water en in die see. En by die vloot aangesluit op ouderdom 18 en verder gegaan. En my tyd 40 jaar daar baie geniet. Baie speelgoed om mee te speel. En altyd na by die see, en dit beteken dat ek my passie van duikbote, see en ook seiljagvaart kon voortsit.
You also won the Cape to Rio yacht race, nee? Am I right?
Yes, that's correct. A while ago, quite a while ago, when we were all still young and beautiful, I sailed, I've sailed quite a few Rio races, but I had the luck to put a project together for a yacht called Broomstick, which I skippered across to Rio and then back up to Guadeloupe. And we won it on line honours, and the next time that I sailed it was on Umoja Mosha, which was a smallish Navy yacht where we won on handicap. So yes, I've done some sailing.
Wow. Now you are trying your phenomenal talents once again, to resurrect a previous, shall we say, attempt at a museum which was fascinating and now needs a second chance at life. Tell us more about this.
Okay, big story. And obviously a big passion of mine. Around about 2011, this Daphne-class submarine, which was decommissioned because of the new submarines, and they were in fact very old, launched in 1970, July 1970 in France. This one boat, the SAS Johanna van der Merwe, which since became the SAS Assegai, was a museum which was alongside in the water in Simonstad. And a man called Angel Suderland and his huge, fantastic team put this project together, and the boat was open to the public. 56,000 visitors over that period from 110 countries. A magnificent project, and since then the boat deteriorated on the outside and became probably not that sexy anymore. And so the Navy put it back on the synchro lift, quite rightly so. And since then we have negotiated with the Navy, who's been incredibly helpful to get this boat to a position where we could put it on dry land and open this museum once again to the public and to our children, to show the youth of South Africa what one can do with technology and what was achieved at the time with technology, South African technology.
Admiral, wat sal die voordele wees van so 'n museum? So why should we have it? I mean, I know you mentioned to show our kids some of the technology. Is it also to create a love for, die duikbote, of wat is die doel daar agter?
They often say that specifically countries in Africa are sea blind. So we tend to forget that more than 90% of our goods actually come by sea, by the highways of the sea. And that is something that needs to be secured and be kept secure for the future. One can just imagine if Durban Harbour had to close down for a couple of weeks, what would happen to the country. So on the one side, sort of more in a Operation Pakisa type of way, where we try and bring the youth and show them what the Navy is all about, the People's Navy, as they call it. And on the other hand, it is just incredible to study science and maths at school, and you say, where am I ever going to use this? And then to go on a submarine and to actually see it in practice, to actually experience that if the temperature of the water changes by 1 degree, the weight of the submarine changes by 200 kilograms. And just the sonars and transducers, also what we actually can achieve in this country. You know, the submarine went through major refits. I don't think the French would have recognized it in the end. And all of that was made with South African technology.
Hanno, dit is vir my merkwaardig om te dink dat in 2010 was die SAS as 'n gaai alreeds oopgestel vir die publiek om na te kom kyk, tot met 2015 as gevolg van die manier wat die romp op hierdie stadium besig was om te roes, en dis meer is dit 2015 uitgehaal, soos jy sê, and put on a synchro lift by the Navy. Now, since then, it's been standing there, and here's the opportunity now to put it to use, but put it on land where it's more accessible for people to actually, for the public to come and see the submarine. What are the plans? Where do you put a big submarine like that now?
Yeah, it's actually not that big. It's about 600 ton without the battery, which has obviously been removed. The Navy's been very kind. They've given us a place, an area next to the naval base in Samestown, where we could fit it. And we've actually, this week, we're completing the foundations for the future position of the submarine. The inside of the submarine is in absolute magnificent condition, really great. So we need to build the foundations, which we've done. We've even got some buildings where we will have maritime technology-driven exhibitions. And we've built the foundations. We are going to move the boat once we have sufficient funds to do so. And once we're there, we will actually open the boat up. That means we're going to cut two entrance and exit on the side of the submarine. It's quite difficult getting into a boat through the hatches. So although we've had all these visitors, I think it's going to be far safer if we bring them through normal doors. We've obviously checked the 124 submarine museums in this world and see how they do it. And we're going to renovate the outside once the submarine is there. The outside, basically a paint job and some steel plating. But we're very excited to try and do this thing in the new year and make it sustainable.
Wow. Wie sal in beheer wees van hierdie? Is daar vrywilligers wat na die museum gaan kyk, of who will be in complete control of this?
Okay, so it was quite interesting because the submarine was handed by the Navy to the museum, to the Navy Museum, which is probably the only maritime museum that functions well in this country, unfortunately. And the submarine remains the property of the South African Navy. However, the management of the boat has gone across to the Naval Heritage Trust, which is basically a non-profit organization which looks after the naval heritage. And they've given a project team, which I lead, the chance to try and do this. And we're going to do it.
Dit is merkwaardig om te sien dat dit nie die vloot se geld is nie, maar dat daar tog mense is wat in hulle kapasiteit as besigheidseienaars en dis meer kan bydra. Kan daar mense bydra tot hierdie fonds, tot hierdie projek om hierdie duikboot te laat herleef?
Absoluut. Ons het enige persoon wat in Google ingaan en die SA Navy Submarine Museum, Google sal die links vind. Ons het 'n crowdfunding inisiatief. Daar's 'n borgskap proposal. Ons wys die planne en presies die begroting. Dis alles baie oop en transparant. En ons sal dit natuurlik verskriklik smart vind as ons meer as net duikbootvaarders kan kry wat vir ons hiermee kan help.
Absoluut. Dis 'n wonderlike ding om te besef dat hierdie is nie vlootgeld of staatsgeld nie. Dis privaat geld wat mense op soek is en dis tog op die einde vir die mense van die land en jy weet nie vir iets anders nie. Ag, baie dankie vir die moeite wat julle doen. Afgetrede admiraal Hanno Teuteberg. Thank you very much for joining us this morning and we wish you best of luck.
Baie dankie vir die geleentheid.
Nou ja, 'n een-in-sy-soort duikboot-museum, die enigste in Afrika. So ja, daar's nou ietsie wat 'n mens voor kan uitreik.